I never thought a swimming pool could nearly cost me my home, my peace, and even my reputation. But one night, with police lights flashing across my backyard and my neighbors crowding the street, that's exactly where I found myself being pointed at by the head of my HOA screaming, "Arrest him!" And the crazy part, every single second of her threats had been caught on camera, waiting for the moment it would all blow back on her. My name's Michael Carter. I'm a former Army guy now working a quiet IT job, and a couple years ago I bought this place in Maplewood Estates. It wasn't anything fancy, just a comfortable home with a backyard pool my dad had built with his own hands. That pool wasn't just concrete and water, it was my dad's sweat, his weekends, his pride. Before he passed, he told me, "Guard what you build." So I did, and I thought I'd found the perfect suburban peace. Until Karen showed up. Now, Karen wasn't just any neighbor. She was the president of the HOA. Picture a woman in her 50s, always strutting around like she owned the block, heels clicking perfume thick in the air. She had this way of smiling that wasn't really a smile, more like a warning. People didn't respect her. They feared her. I'd seen her fine old Mr. Jacobs for leaving his trash can out too long, humiliate a young couple for painting their door the wrong shade of blue. But me, I figured I could keep my head down, stay out of trouble. I was wrong. One Saturday morning, she knocked on my door with that fake, sweet voice. "Michael," she said, "the board's been talking. It would be wonderful if you opened your pool to the neighborhood. Think of it as a community amenity." I laughed. "It's not a community pool, Karen. It's mine. The deed says so." Her smile dropped instantly. She leaned in low, voice sharp. "You'd better reconsider. Fighting the board never ends well." And just like that, I knew I was in for a war. The letters started coming. Violations, fines, threats. First, it was unsafe fencing, then unapproved alterations. None of it made sense. The pool had been there for decades, long before the HOA even existed. I pulled out the deed, read it front to back. It was clear. My property, my rules. Still, Karen wouldn't let up. She cornered me at the mailbox once, whispering, "Just comply, Michael, or you'll regret it." At first I tried to brush it off. Maybe she was just testing me, trying to scare me. But then the campaign really began. I got hit with fees that weren't in any bylaw, threats of liens on my house, even a notice saying construction crews would be coming by to renovate the pool area for community access. I had to stand in my driveway blocking the gate while a group of contractors looked at me, confused, holding work orders signed by Karen. "One more step and you're trespassing," I told them. They left, but the message was clear. She wasn't bluffing. The neighborhood turned cold. People avoided me, whispered as I passed. Karen started posting online, calling me selfish, a bad neighbor, making it sound like I was hoarding something that should belong to everyone. And I'll admit it, after a while I started to wonder if maybe she was right. Was I being too stubborn? Was I really the problem? There was one night I sat out by that pool staring at the still water, thinking about selling the house. Maybe I should just cut my losses, get away from the mess. I felt alone, embarrassed, like the whole community was against me. And then I remembered my dad, how he spent months laying those tiles, how proud he was when it was finished. His voice echoed in my head, "Guard what you build." That pool wasn't just water in the ground, it was a promise. And if I let her take it, I'd be breaking that promise. That's when something in me shifted. I got to work. I installed cameras around the yard, recording every visit, every threat. I saved every letter, every bogus fee, every post she made online. I even started carrying a small recorder in my pocket for when she cornered me on the street. "This is harassment, Karen," I told her once. She smirked. "Call it whatever you want, Michael. The board decides the rules." Perfect. That little soundbite went straight into my growing file of evidence. And I didn't stop there. I hired a lawyer, a good one. Every week I dropped off new documents, new recordings. "You're not just defending yourself," he said, flipping through a stack of papers. "You're building a case." And I was. Quietly, methodically, I was stacking bricks for the day the whole wall would come crashing down on her. That day came sooner than I thought. One evening, just as the sun was going down, Karen showed up at my gate with 2 board members in tow. She pounded on the metal, shouting, "Open it! The board demands entry." I refused, calm but firm. Her face twisted. She pulled out her phone and called the cops. Within minutes, the street was lit up with red and blue. Neighbors spilled out onto lawns, whispering, watching. And then Karen, in front of everyone, pointed straight at me and yelled, "There he is! Arrest him!" I didn't flinch. Instead, I pulled out the deed. I showed the officers the property lines clear as day, my land not HOA controlled. Then I handed over a USB drive. On it, recordings, videos, emails, proof of every lie, every harassment, every false claim. And as if on cue, my lawyer pulled up in his car, walked over like it was just another day at the office, and said to the cops, "HOA bylaws are contracts, not laws. My client never signed any agreement putting this property under their authority. Everything they've done is invalid." Karen exploded, waving papers shouting about community standards and protecting property values. But the neighbors, they weren't nodding along anymore. They were filming. And as my lawyer calmly explained the truth, you could see it in their faces. They realized she'd been lying, bullying, abusing power for years. The whispers turned against her. The fallout was brutal. Word spread fast. At the next meeting, residents demanded answers. Videos of her screaming at me, demanding my arrest, went viral on the neighborhood forum. And when the matter finally reached court, it was over before it began. The judge looked at the mountain of evidence and dismissed the HOA's claims entirely. Not only that, but Karen's board had to pay damages and cover my legal fees. She was forced to resign, stripped of her little empire of control. No applause, no farewell party, just a notice in the mail that she was gone. I remember standing by the pool afterward, the water calm, the night quiet. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt free. The storm was over. The noise silenced. Karen had finally fallen. And if there's one thing I learned through it all, it's this: bullies only win when you let them.